Hello guys, welcome to this video. I want to chat to you all about why I'm posting less on Instagram feed and why I'm concentrating most of my efforts on Instagram stories for daily sales. I have found like there's been so much more of an uplift in terms of sales on the platform because of this strategy shift, and maybe it comes as a bit of a relief because Instagram feed posts can sometimes feel very exhaustive and performative, and then you've got to find trending music and you've got to do all the things. So any tips and advice that I can give you guys on making things easier and more effortless, I will always share what I'm doing. Now, I also have for perspective other platforms such as YouTube, a podcast, and my email list where I am constantly sharing and selling as well. But I want to hone in on Instagram because I know that it can be a very tough place to currently grow and or sell. But I want to share exactly what I'm doing. We're going to go into some of my stories archives and I want to talk you through why certain stories worked very, very well so that you can also try this yourself and see if your sales uplift as a result. So let's jump into my iPad. We're going to go straight to my Instagram account and I'm going to take you through some of my stories in the archived side of things. Don't worry, I'll make these bigger. And I'll talk you through the different styles of stories that I found to be really successful at this time. So let's just go from the start of this year. Yeah, I think start of this year will be really great. Now, this is a great one to begin with. So this is a kind of text overlay, as you can see, more text than usual. Not all of my stories are filled with so much text, that's for sure. But this isn't a perfect example. So I'm talking about how daily sales became a normalcy for me. When I say that out loud, it lands in my body in a very different way than it used to. So little screenshot there of the system I use, which is Samcart. I see these a lot lately, which is so lovely. I look at this week alone, I'm still in grateful shock that sales came through on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. My clients find me when they need the work, and that feels awesome because I get to help a global audience around the clock without needing me to be so on all the time. So then this goes to the next story. Okay, yeah. When I think back to how I used to do business, the difference is honestly wild. I was always bracing for something like, okay, what's next? What's the next launch? When's the next push? When do I need to open this and close that, announce something else, or else it all falls apart? It really felt like I was constantly watching the clock and my own energy at the same time. Even when money was coming in, it never really felt calm. There was always this low level pressure humming in the background, like don't relax yet, don't get too comfy. You've got to keep moving or it's going to dry up. So even the good seasons felt like very heavy in my body. And this part of my business was exhausting and I didn't even realize how normalized it had become until it wasn't anymore. And then I go into this entire way of operating no longer exists in my world. There is no part of the day spent calculating when I should open or close something. No internal chatter whether or not I'm doing good enough to earn the next wave. There is this deep, steady knowing that hundreds and thousands of dollars get to come in constantly, seamlessly, because I am no longer fighting my business. I'm now in flow state with it. And despite an industry constantly tied to pull me back into urgency, complexity, performance, and proving I chose a different lane. Read this to unlock true freedom in 2026. This goes to my $27 2026 playbook. And when I say that this converted so highly, it converted so beautifully. Now, this is a long text post on stories. I definitely don't spend my days writing long text. If that's your style, then definitely go ahead and have some fun with it. But this has been really pivotal in the way that I communicate. In the past, what I used to do was do a lot of like talking heads to stories. Maybe if you were even like an OG stories person where there was so many stories updated and uploaded that the lines became dots, like dashes to dots. If you know, you know. That was me. I used to just like go on and on and on and never quite get to the point. And it's just changed so much. Now I feel like when I write something in like a long text version, such as what I've just showed you, I actually, it might not seem it because I just took ages reading it, but it gets to the point a lot faster. And I know that my story viewers are a lot more appreciative of it. Plus the link clicks are just so much higher than doing a talking head and hoping that someone's going to DM you on the other side of it. All right, so I am going to show you another type of story that has done really, really well. This is a DM from one of my mastermind clients, which I got very early on in the year. And shout out to Vivian. And she says, I wanted to send this before the year ended, but better late than never. I wanted to say thank you for all of 2025. You're one of the best things that happened to me, Ruby. Currently still in holiday mode and it's been the best thing ever, but I'm keen to dive into 2026 and apply the things I've learned from you. There's still so much more to come, and I just know it. Bring on 2026. Thank you so much for showing up and giving us what we didn't even realize we needed, the safe space and the permission to try. Forever grateful. This is so lovely, and I'm so grateful for this. Now, why this works is because it is a version of showing receipts in the business. Yes, you can go with the typical income proof receipts, which I will absolutely show you in a second, but these ones are really beautiful because they are community-based, they are human-based, they are, testimonials of sorts. And then I've got a lifestyle video in the background where, as you can see in my caption, I am walking my bestie's dog, reading this and filling my heart up with gratefulness. That is beautiful Toffee. We love Toffee so much. This is another story, so let me hop out of that. But I just wanted to share that with you because I think sometimes we can overdo the whole how do we hardcore sell and how do we make it so obvious for people to go ahead and buy, when most times it's about sharing the real stuff, the heart of your business. Because what this does is that it creates this curiosity. It creates this open loop when people are going through your stories and they're sort of thinking, oh, what has she shared? This is a client. This is really interesting. I want to know why 2025 was so great for this particular client. Why was there a DM like this? And plus, it's just happy vibes all the way. It is a more casual post because I'm just literally walking my friend's dog, who I dog sit a lot, and I love him so much. It's in the rain. So there's a little bit of that personal life element coming into it as well, which I think is the beauty of stories. You can be a bit more raw. You can be a bit more undone. When you're on feed, sometimes you feel like it needs to be more of a resume in one sense. And I've talked about the 4 content styles that I put on feed, but you'll know what I mean, where it needs to have much more thought to it rather than me just filming my feet and the dog walking in the rain. So this is really cute. This is something I designed in Canva, and this is a straight up ask. I've built a brand new challenge and you're going to want in on this. I think it's a really cute little graphic. It's got the 7 core concepts to unlock daily sales, which I'll also leave the link below in the show notes because I think a lot of you would love this. I got such great feedback on the Daily Sales Readiness Challenge. You can do this at any time just to get your business really prepped so that you're making sales every single day. And all I did here was basically said, DM me for free access, and people did. So that was really nice. There's a ManyChat funnel running behind that, which is really awesome. All right, let me get you another example. I'm just going to fill in with a couple more examples before we go into why these posts do so well. And hopefully at the same time, it's also giving you a lot of inspiration. Okay, let's go to a B-roll example. B-rolls are always, I think, so easy to make. So this is me now. If I were to set up a camera, I'm talking to you guys here on YouTube, but this is my office and my desk space. And I'm just chilling there, having my coffee, looking at some things on my screen. So what have I said? In the deep work today, building a new sales page, copywriting, pricing, offer alignment, and design work. I do it all. I just can't outsource this. True and a fact. I've tried outsourcing those things. These things have to stay with me. There's just so much more clarity when I produce things myself in and around these topics, but that could be a video for another day. I go on to say I produce 2 flow tracks to help me enter deep flow. It's an insanely powerful tool filled with lo-fi beats and subliminals. I've made them available today. If you'd like them, DM me track and I'll grab you the link. So this was literally a bundle that I put out there on stories, and all day that day, I had people grabbing the bundle, which was really, really amazing. And so a bit of social proof there, also clarification. Me doing this myself isn't a control thing or an anti-outsourcing take. I love delegation, but when it comes to shaping an offer or writing a sales page, my brain and my body need to be in the embodiment of it. Does that make sense? Plus, I love it. Anyway, definitely go grab those tracks if you're in the work too. DM me track, and then, just a screenshot there of how many people have played this, 41,000 plays. And it's the tool that I honestly get the most amount of feedback on. So many of you guys have used it to enter flow state yourself, which makes me so happy. But I'm very, very proud of this offer. So these are just some really fun angles and different ways that I'm utilizing Instagram stories and allowing myself to just have fun, to play around with it as such, and not putting so much pressure on myself around needing to necessarily have stories produced these massive amounts of sales, but also not wasting the opportunity that Stories has. I have to give you an example with an income claim because that is probably the most common, especially if you are coaching in sales and marketing. If it's not income, it'll be something to do with data inside of your industry or inside of your business. It could be a study. So, take what you will, but something really quantifiable. So for me, it's my Stripe payments. So again, taking a look at this, if we're going to pull this particular story apart and why it had such high conversions, is there's a lifestyle element to it. So I'm saying about to have my morning swim and this pretty notification popped up. I'm feeling genuinely grateful for income that arrives daily without any chasing. So this is my pool and it's so beautiful. Look at the day. There's palm trees. There's my pool shower. And obviously the screenshot there from Stripe saying it's $786. It's on its way. And I've just written at the bottom there a very strategically but very casually placed call to action. If this is something you want for your business this year, DM me ready and I'll help you get this all set up in a week. So this went to a low ticket offer, helping you really set up a part of your passive income strategy and having you look at like what offers are going to work really well, how to come up with something that is absolutely going to sell on Stories. So this is, another example of what a story element can do. And you know what I really love about this? I could sometimes just post 1 or 2 stories and that's it for my entire day posting on Stories. And those 2 stories alone will directly lead to sales within minutes. I've seen the correlation. I've seen people DM me the word and obviously I see their name and their handle. And then within 5 minutes or so, I see the sale coming in with the same name. And I could just leave that there and that's my work done for the day. I don't need to be posting on feed. There's other things that I need to get to within my business, but just knowing that that one strategy is quite literally, I know it sounds very internety, but printing cash by me just having spent 10 minutes putting together that story and helping people get to the right links or opening the right doors where my audience may be feeling a little stuck or feeling a little challenged by something and I've offered them a solution. Okay, straight after this story, I also have just a little chit chat. I think these chit chat stories are always very effective and it just gives people an insight into how you think, right? Like your philosophy, your way of being. Also, it's leadership. It's how you are becoming an authority in your space. So when you're posting something like this, it is opinionated. It's meant to be opinionated. So this is an example where I've said this. I know I'm out here advocating for $47 offers and $7 sales. And on the surface, it might not sound like it makes a lot of sense. But if you actually do the math, that's about $280K a year from one income stream. And I have 5 set up like this. And I genuinely wonder why we were ever taught that making money is hard when it can be one of the easiest things to create. Extremely opinionated, but also in my leadership, right? Like what I know to be true, given that this model has worked for me and my clients, and I've been a coach of 8 years. I've tried a lot of things. So that just comes from a place of like, why have we made it so difficult? If sales feel hard for you, you're not broken. You're just building it in a way that asks too much of you. How can I help you best? So this is the results. Like I had the poll set up. So use the features on Instagram. It's there to really help you with your engagement. It doesn't matter if you've had like only a handful of people respond. The thing is that you have to respect the people who've responded to you and make something of it. Okay, stop just being annoyed by the fact that you have low engagement. The fact is that you have engagement. So anyway, there's my little opinionated rant on that. But you can see here, there's 47% people wanted the free training. Very happy with that. Sent them to here, my YouTube channel, to deepen the relationship there. 20% for the 27 playbook and the short course. And then 13% people asking about the mastermind, which actually just looking at this percentage breakdown is exactly what every customer funnel person will share with you. Like this is like the actual funnel of how it works, which is actually, if you tip it upside down, that's how it would look. The majority of people come through at the free stuff, then they go to the 20%, then they go to the 13%. So that's really awesome. And I think that this is something that you can, and this is again, the next day. So if we have a look at the date stamp here, okay, 3 days later. So we've got the 9th of January. And then here I've just said, I posted this. yesterday, and these are the results. So you can see how they've shifted over the last 24 hours. This blew up my DMs and brought in a bunch of sales from $7 through to $5,000 inquiries. Steal it for today. This is perfect Monday engagement. So I've just basically shared it with my audience to say, try this out, try the poll out, share what you have, the free thing, the low ticket offers, and bring awareness to your high ticket space. So a lot of people really appreciated that from me. And here I've just given them like exactly what to post. So your high ticket option, your hell yes low ticket, your quick win option, and offer a free high value training. So that was really, really fun. This has been so great, obviously still leading people to all of my sales links and things like that. But it's actually been so great because it brings a level of excitement to see like what have I posted on stories today? What have I put out there? What teaching can I grab from this one creator and coach? So you got to give them a reason to want to come back, because I gave something just really high value of like, steal this, post this, and see what kind of activity comes through. I've had messages after that. People are going, I did that and I made a $27 sale straight away. Thank you so much, Rubes. And I'm like, yeah, of course. So it's going to give them a reason to want to come back to be like, does she have more tips for me? And even if it's not necessarily straight up advice, educational tips, because it's not always that, I want people leaving my stories feeling excited, feeling like they can do it too, feeling inspired action to take the action that they need to do in order to grow their business. So yeah, stories has been a really powerful tool. Don't forget about it. And in fact, I will go as far to say that if you only have 10 minutes today and you're debating, do I put out a reel that's possibly going to get, 10x more views, or do I put out a story leading to something that I'm selling? You know what I'm going to say. Put out the story if you've only got 10 minutes. If you've got an hour, you can do both. But it really makes a massive difference to the way that you're training the algorithm, the way that you're asking your core group of people to come and interact with you. And so, yeah, definitely do not forget that stories is a very viable sales strategy, especially for those of you that are mentors, coaches, teachers, and healers who have easy hell yes offers, low ticket offers, and a lot of other free content where you want to cross-pollinate. So Instagram viewers will come to YouTube. You guys will likely go back to Instagram. Then you'll see I've got a podcast and you'll go to the podcast. You've got to utilize stories that way, where you're taking people through all parts of your business, and it's an amazing opportunity to do so. Now, the reality is that on average, anything that you put on feed, whether that be reels, whether that be, carousel posts, especially carousels is having a moment at the moment on feed, you are definitely going to get a far higher reach without a doubt. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The industry data has shown it again and again. And the benchmark analysis around it, like with HubSpot and whatnot, has definitely found that stories has lower reach overall compared to feed posts and to reels. So if you are like going, Rubes, I love this idea, but my stories reach is so low. For anyone who regularly gets, let's say, about 2,000 views on a reel, will likely only get about 200 views on their stories. So that is normal, okay? It's not you. It's how the feature of Instagram is currently designed, how the algorithm is currently hooked up. It's not a defect in your content whatsoever, but there is something that I need you to know, because you might be going, well, what's the point? Wouldn't you rather have 2,000 people see the things that you're selling as opposed to 200 people? And even less than that, because I know some of us have really small and mighty accounts, and that is beautiful. You actually get to do so much more with a small and mighty account. You have to remember that views does not equal quality of connection. If you are only there to get viral views on something and to get a whole heap of eyeballs and visibility on your stuff, but you're never confident enough to put an offer out there or to sell something or take someone through a freebie and offer them links to go deeper with you, then you're always going to be chasing the views and you're always going to be chasing the number count. And I know I've been through stages like this as well in my business, and it's extremely exhausting. You've got to remember that when it comes to reels or anything on the feed posts, it really is about getting yourself out there on like a billboard. So it's a broad aspect to the way that you're marketing. The people who don't even follow you are seeing your stuff for like 2 or 3 seconds. And tons of them might actually scroll by without ever engaging or even watching to the end, even watching 5 seconds into your reel, which is the sad reality. But why I'm such a big advocate for stories being a greater part of your sales strategy, not necessarily, your visibility strategy, but how you're selling. Sales views are narrow and we can leverage that. That's something that I really want you to think about. You can leverage how narrow they are, and they are almost exclusively the real people. You know what I mean by that? The people who already love your stuff, they follow you, they care about what it is that you put out there to the world. And some of them, like especially some of my story viewers, we have literally formed like a really lovely, warm relationship DMing each other. And I'm so grateful for my story viewers and the people that DM me off the back of my stories, because they have also taken enough time to stop and watch. They're not just casually scrolling like you would do on feed. There is intentional engagement there. So while stories might look kind of lower and the numbers are a bit meh compared to reels, the people who do watch your stories are much closer to you, of higher quality in terms of customer and collaborators and folks who eventually will show up to buy something or will want to connect on something else. So in other words, Reels is going to get you really seen, and carousels is really going to get you seen and visible, but stories is going to get you known, and stories is going to get you sales. And for the most part, a lot of people miss this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if there's anything else that you would like to know about my story strategy. Just taking you behind the scenes felt like a really easy way for me to be able to explain this in quite some detail. But if you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments below. I answer all of the questions. Also, click to the next video where I will show you exactly what you need to do to make daily sales. I'll see you there.